Hello everybody. In this video I want to walk through Kaggle with you as it pertains to private competitions that we are holding at St. Mary's University through our Center for Business Analytics. Historically, some of you may have participated in contests before where we used a Google Drive that required you to upload a file, and it would take us almost a month, if not 2 months, to work through all the submissions. We are partnering with Kaggle now to hold private competitions where we can engage with students and alumni in an environment where it's only for us. So in this competition here, it's the Candy Cane Sales Forecasting Challenge. Now, this challenge can be tackled by anybody that has used Microsoft Excel's data analysis pack with regression. You certainly are able to use other tools such as SAS Studio, Jupyter Notebooks, any other tools that you are comfortable with. But in the end, you have to predict the test sheet of customers and how many candy canes or the sales outcome for them. However you want to do that is up to you. We will assess for the least squared error. So that is going to be a hidden calculation that we will perform behind the scenes. You will not know your total score when you submit. That is because you are allowed to submit multiple times, improving your scores, etc. When I said you will not know your total score, that's because we're going with a Pareto 80-20% rule. What that means is you will be able to see 20% of your score and how you performed in what we call the public viewing. 80% of your total score will be hidden so that it's a fair competition. Because if you know 100% of how you performed, then everybody knows how you performed, and it needs to be a challenge. You can't just, redo your score that way. It has to be done mathematically. So you get to see a glimpse into how you're doing, just a check, but you won't be able to see your total score. So your objective is to take the columns of data, so the variables or features in the data set, and identify which ones are most important to performance in your model. We will give you a hint here, as many of you as students from various modalities in our programs have witnessed, sometimes you have more data than you need. And in this case, we don't mean rows of data. You have to keep the rows of data, but maybe there's more columns than you need. You don't have to use all the columns that are provided to you. In fact, if you use the data analysis pack regression, you will get an error that says you have too many variables in your model. The sweet spot is 16 variables, so that is part of the challenge. It's not just going up to data analysis pack, hitting regression, selecting your Y, and selecting all of the other columns as your forecast. You will get an error. So you do have to spend a little bit of time trying some things out, as well. So let's talk a little bit more about how this works if you've never seen Kaggle before. Up here is the button to submit your prediction. Okay, that is where you do that. You can see some of the rules down here, the due dates and the like. This is what we are going to pony up for you. First place receives a $50 Amazon gift card to be provided by the end of January. Second place, 25 Amazon gift card to be provided at the end of by the end of January. And third place is a $10 Amazon gift card to be provided by the end of January. You do have to be a St. Mary's student or alumni in order to be eligible for this. So I am sorry, no prospective students or guests or people that have stumbled upon this page, which is unlikely to do because it's a private page. But I just want to be clear about that. Okay, you can see the leaderboard. The data is the next spot you're going to go to. You're going to scroll down here, get a description. Here's your data. You can download it. You have 38 columns in total because it has one file, but it's broken out against different sheets or tables, as it will. So you got a submission example. This is going to show you what it should look like before you submit. Test, that is where you have to do your best job based on building your model off of the training data to predict what's in the test. This is also where you do not get the answer because this is the challenge. You don't know how well you perform until the end of the contest overall. So you build your model off of the training data, and you use the test data to feed your submission. Okay? You can also play around over time, build your calculations off of the training data and try a couple different models, a couple different variable combinations to see if you keep improving your score. Note that this data set generally has a strong R-squared. Nothing too significant will reduce it, so it will be a matter of tweaking your model to pump out the most accurate results, and that could be down to decimals. Okay. Here's your data set there if you want to download it differently. We are not providing metadata with this because, generally speaking, we feel that the columns are self-sufficient or self-understanding in that sense. So this is a competition where we will not be entertaining emails as follow-ups to column questions. This is, generally speaking, provided as is, and we will see what you submit towards the end of the competition. Okay. The rules of the competition are standard per Kaggle. You have to be a student or alumni of St. Mary's University. We will score it based on 3 placements. In the case of a tie, we will roll a random dice roll to determine the winner of each placement. Here is an example of a submission file. You have to have ID in A1 and prediction in B1. Any deviation from this, and it will result in an error submission. We will not be fixing error submissions, nor do we have the ability to do so or review submissions individually. So you're pretty much on your own with working this out. So here's an example. These are very important here. You get these on your test sheet. Do not change these whatsoever. This is where you put your prediction. After you've developed your formula based off of the data analysis pack or whatever tool you're using to build your regression equation, when you apply that to your prediction, you will get a score, not this high, this is just an example, and then you will save it as a CSV file. Very important that you save it as a CSV file and make sure that you have all of this in there. Okay, I found my file. It's called Fake1. Yours will be something different. It has to be a CSV file, as I mentioned. Okay. You can enter a description, which is only useful to you. We will not be reviewing your description. And then you hit submit. Okay. Okay. So now that you've hit a submission, it's pending. And your public score, again, you get to see some of your score. You get to see 20% of the submission is very high number. That's because I made up the data.